So we are live now. A very good afternoon to everyone, those who have joined from India, and to those who have joined from Egypt, marhaban, sabah al khair. So we warmly welcome you all, Professor, our Honorable Chancellor, Professor Syed Wasim Akhtar, Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Professor Syed Nadeem Akhtar, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Javed Musarrat, our Chief Guest, Dr. Asmaa Elzieny, our Head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Zeba Akil Ma'am, all the faculty members and dear participants. Today, we have gathered on this online platform to discuss the cause of feminism. But before we delve into that, I would just give a brief introduction of our university and our department. Now, Integral University is a premier university in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, which was established in 2004 by the state government, and it has also been awarded A+ by the NAC. Coming to our Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, so our department offers a variety of programs including Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts, PhD and diploma courses in a variety of disciplines such as psychology, sociology, history, political science and economics. So now, coming to the relevance of today's theme, that is feminism, जिसे हम हिंदी में नारीवाद कहते हैं. Now, we live in an era where discussions on gender equality has been important than ever before. And in that case, when we talk about feminism, so this word feminism has often been misrepresented and misunderstood as man-hating or as female supremacy. But in reality, it is actually a movement that advocates for social, political, and economic equality of both the genders. So what happens is that these misconceptions, they start hindering the progress towards gender equality. So today, we have our very talented and our very wonderful Dr. Asmaa Elzieny, who will be unraveling these myths, these misconceptions and realities surrounding feminism. So now I would like to invite Dr. Khwaja Danish Hamid sir to please introduce our guest speaker. It would just take a moment.
A very warm welcome to our esteemed guest, Dr. Asmaa Elzieny. I was going through a CV. It's a very extensive CV, and I will read it out to you. So, Dr. Asmaa Elzieny will deliver a lecture on feminism, myths, and realities. Her full name is Dr. Asmaa Muhammad Usman Ahmad Elzieny. She has done her studies from Al-Azhar University, one of the most prestigious university of the world, from Cairo, Egypt. Her doctoral thesis is titled as Cultural Pluralism in American Feminine Leadership, Speeches of Ilhan Omar and Kamala Harris, a socio-cognitive corpus-based analysis, which makes her even more relevant for today's topic. She has received her training from various organizations based in Egypt, like Women Leaders in Egypt, from Governorate National Training Academy in 2024, Introduction to Protocols, Military Academy from Military Academy of Administration Sciences for Army Officers in cooperation with the National Training Council, Strategy and National Security course from Military Academy for Higher Sciences in 2023, Problem Solving and Negotiation course from Military Academy for Higher Studies in 2023, Decision Making course from Military Academy for Higher Studies Technological Transformation and National Security from Military Academy for Higher Studies 2023. British Council certified trainer she is. British Council certified trainer, that is tax supervisor in 2021. She has done his extensively. She has worked on teaching refugees at Al Azhar University in 2021. To just to name a few. This side by side, her area of interest focuses on interfaith dialogue, female spirituality, intercultural studies, artificial intelligence, corpus-based studies, scripture reasoning. She has also been invited as a speaker to many conferences and seminars like a sixth international conference on world religions in the month of October 2023. School of Religion and Philosophy, Minhaj University, that is in Lahore. Religious Pluralism, Freedom, Feminism, World Religions, Postmodern Engagement in the Case Study of Islam, and Uni Sharif Hidayatullah Jakarta International Conference on Muslim English Literature in 2023. The other is that fifth international webinar on education in Masters of Islamic Religious Education. Then she has just to name a few. Then she has apparently appeared in many of the Egyptian programs, TV programs like Role of Al Azhar in Achieving National Unity Between Muslim and Christian, Virtues of the Month of Ramadan, Vibes of Month of Ramadan in Egypt, Virtues of Hajj, Egyptian Family House and Muslim Christian Relationship, the Human Fraternity Document and the Interfaith Dialogue, Muslims celebrating Mawlid, that is the birth of Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace be upon him, the speech of President Al-Sisi on the occasion of Mawlid, the effects of inauguration of Egyptian Islamic Culture Center, the role of Egyptian Islamic Culture Center in maintaining Egyptian culture heritage. How should Muslim do during the month of Ramadan? Eid celebration in Egypt culture and around the world, Egyptian role in preserving Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the correct way of celebrating Mawlid, to name a few. So today's expectation, which from this lecture, is that to know about feminism, to know about factors that contribute to the rise of feminism, to know about popular myths and realities regarding feminism, to know about compatibility of feminism with Asian values and society, to know about feminism contributes to Islamophobia, to know how what are the limitation of feminism, to know about whether feminism is male bashing or not, to know about why feminists shy away from equal rights sometimes. So with this, I will invite Dr. Neha ma'am to speak, to take the stage and do the further.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed an impressive CV of Dr. Asmaa Elzieny. So, ma'am, now the online platform is all yours, and dear participants, all of you, please feel free to post your queries or any questions that you wish that ma'am should answer later after her lecture. So now we shall proceed with Dr. Asmaa Elzieny's lecture. Ma'am,
Okay.
please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor and Mas, for your wonderful introduction and very welcoming words for about me. I'm really happy and privileged to be able to join you today in our presentation about our topic. I chose before I start what we are going to discuss about our topic today. I don't want to forget to thank Chair Professor Ziba Akil, the head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at Integral University. And of course, I would like to extend my thank you to Dr. Khawaja for our chance to meet together and be able to join you today, and everyone attending the department and all the audience. I hope that our presentation is going to be fruitful for everyone. I chose the title for our meeting today to be under the title Understanding Feminism, Myths, Realities, and Misconceptions. Actually, I'm extensively lecturing and presenting about the topic of feminism today, nowadays. And this is something natural as we became to be living in a rapidly changing global landscape, and the movement of feminism has become like more critical than ever before. So we are going to navigate through complex social and political and cultural realities relevant to the movement. Of course, I prepared the presentation, and it's going to be like the headlines. I'm going to give the details orally. This is my thank you to the department. Yes, let's start. It's something natural that whenever we speak to the public about a phenomena, we in academia, when we starting speaking about whatever phenomena, whatever happening around us, it is usually very beneficial to start by defining the phenomena and giving a brief definition of what it is. Of course, if we are going to follow the definitions, we'll find number of the definitions. The one I'm going to give now is just one of the most common definitions of the feminism. What is feminism in reality? Feminism is a movement mainly advocating the equality and the challenging systems of oppression or discrimination based on gender. Generally speaking, it is a defending movement. It seeks to address some issues mainly for the sake of getting over unequal opportunities and gender-based violence. This is the main, comes at the core of the movement. And of course, marginalization of women in various aspects of society. We are going to know what are these aspects in detail, in full details. But before, let's dig deeper than this to talk about and try to discuss in a little bit details what are the factors that contributed to the rise of the movement of feminism. Okay. Of course, all your questions all through the presentation is most welcome. But please, if you would like to ask about any detail or part of the presentation or any other thing, just to keep it until we reach the part about discussion at the end of the presentation, okay? If we are going to tackle the factors that contributed to the rise of feminism, there are a number of factors. The first of these reasons or factors that led to the rise of the feminism movement mainly are historical injustices. Throughout history, women has witnessed the type of marginalization, denial. This was basically relevant to rights. The denial and marginalization was relevant to rights. They were subjected to systems of discrimination because of lack of awareness. Maybe they suffered limited educational opportunities, and of course, employment opportunities. Women faced different of these types of discrimination until the movement started to rise rationally. This mainly something historical. Of course, there are social reform movements that was coincident, that came at the time when just before or at the same time when the feminism movement appeared, the calls for equality. The feminist movement came like a kind of justice movement. It included talking about civil rights, labor rights, gender rights. It shared the struggle against not only for women, it shared its struggle with the other movements calling or fighting against the oppression and equality, facing many that we can call in some societies weaker parts. Okay, it was seeking to achieve some kind of a change in these societies and communities. Okay, another reason that led to the appearance of feminism was the industrialization and urbanization. Of course, the whole world in different parties witnessed this shift from being urban to being from very simple living, very simple form of life, like for example in our Egyptian community and other some Arab and maybe in some parts of the other parts of the world. The dawn of industrialization and urbanization brought with it these profound changes in the social community and economic community, which later on led to this intellectual and cultural movements like the movement of feminism. Of course, as I was just telling, after the industrialization came the intellectual and the philosophical development. This is something natural that usually follows whatever change happens in communities. The intellectual, maybe sometimes the economic change is limited, but it may be followed by philosophical and historical and intellectual change, which is caused by this change, and it is most of times greater in effect. So the philosophers and writers and academia and people in academia and activists, generally speaking, they laid the groundwork for what we mean by feminism, as by challenging prevailing notions about gender, about social hierarchy in some communities. And we can mention some names, namely in this regard, but let's delay the mentioning of the main figures until coming part of our presentation. One very important factor that led to the appearance and prevailing of feminism was the legal and the political reforms that happened all over the world. And this is something that flows naturally in order. After the social and intellectual comes the part about legal and political reforms. Of course, any struggle happening all over the world, what leads to the listening or the start of healing of this suffering depends greatly on the part of legal and the political reforms. Because whenever we need to call for riots, it is not about changing the setting, the general setting. It's about changing the rules. Here comes the rule of the legal and the political reform that led to the strengthening or affirming the ability of the movement of feminism. Of course, the legal vectors that the feminism achieved in some parts of the world are undeniable. For example, let me mention in my domain here in Egyptian community, it was not allowed for women to be in some positions, for example, for judiciary jobs. The people defending the right of women to have equal opportunities in the field of work still kept their what we can call their fight, their trials, until they managed to have it approved in laws legally, and women were given the right to hold whatever position. Okay. Of course, the cultural shift. This is we could see in number of other fields that can make us be sure that the cultural change is true. The world witnessed number of cultural movements and artistic, of course, in writing and artists, different types of artists, which in the inside part of these pure cultural movements and artistic movements came the main concepts and the main rights which the feminism called to came at the heart of these cultural and artistic movements. For example, in literature and film makers and all these films and theaters and whatever form of literature, you can find the core of the principles of the movement represented in this field, and it could be seen as one of the after the legal and social reformers, the people of the results that were achieved in cultural and media representation may be more felt by the public. The public may not witness, not everyone in the public can witness the change, the legal and the legal factors. They can witness more clearly the effect of culture and media. Another that I see as one important factor that led to the success and the spread of the feminism, especially, is the globalization. Maybe globalization affects different fields of our life negatively, according to some opinions. But in my opinion, globalization was a pushing power for the movement, the feminist movement, especially because it led to the parts of the world when we didn't imagine that the scene may be changed to be affected, at least if it not completely changed or defending these rights, at least to pay their attention. The attention of everyone all over the world was turned towards defending the true rights of the true equality of women in their communities. So globalization is another important factor that led to the success of the spread, let's say the spread of the feminism. These, in my opinion, are some of the most important factors that contributed to the rise and the spread of feminism all over the world. As I told you very briefly, there are historical injustices, social movements, and industrialization and urbanization, intellectual and philosophical development. Okay. The following part of our presentation is going to tackle, of course, this happens with feminism, same as happens with different intellectual and artistic movements that spread all over the world, that the phenomena is not very well understood by everyone. Maybe people nowadays know great about the great deal about feminism, but what they know, what are the myths that are around this phenomena, generally speaking. In this part, I'm going to explore the most famous myths around feminism. As in the introduction, the first and that come at the top of the idea that anyone can grasp easily about the movement of feminism movement is the common mistake or the common myth about that feminists hate men. This is completely untrue in everywhere. Truly, some people who are, let me explain it in the right words, at the reality of feminism, the reality of the movement is not about hating anyone, not men, not children, not whatever, but it is rather about changing some practical, systematic gender ideas about inequality of genders. This is something witnessed in some communities. No one can deny. Not all communities, for example, the political rights, the rights of work rights, wages, and even holding the positions is not equal from one community to another. But it is not about hating the one doing this. It is more about explaining, showing the right picture. It is not ever about hating. But to be fair enough, that some activists who defend feminism may appear like hating men. This is fair enough to mention. It is at the core of the movement. It is not about this, but it is perceived by many. Maybe there are reasons leading to this, but this is one of the most famous myths about the feminism. Another famous myth that conceived mistakenly about feminists and feminism, that feminism is anti-family. In my opinion, what I truly see that actually it is not against the family. It is at the core of feminism, as I perceive it, that it comes to correct the concept. How we have a family, what are the ruling, how they treat each other, what are roles exchanged between the two. Because I see that some communities I call here male-dominated societies. It is not about family. It is about assigning roles fairly and correctly, in a way that suits the social and the intellectual and the main atmosphere of the community. It's not going to be the same in all communities. It is going to be the most suitable for each community. This is what makes feminism and feminists appear like they are against family system. Never. If it is taken with the correct concept, it is never against the family. It seeks to just dissolve the stereotyping and unfair ideas about assigning roles. But it keeps at its core, it keeps the structure, the main structure of having a stable and fair family system. Another famous misconception or myth about feminism, that feminists wants women to be superior to men, and the idea of having strong, independent, blah blah women. Right, the movement calls for women to be strong, to know their true value, to know their abilities, their limits, but it doesn't call openly to that women should be over or superior to men, and doesn't call to the opposite, that men should be superior. It should, as I see it, and other intellectuals see that the correct understanding, the fair understanding of the movement is calling to appreciating and understanding the true value, the true abilities that women can add to their communities, not to make them superior or make men superior. It is not about who to do the job. It is about who is best, who fits better to do whatever he's going to do, whether in a public work or inside a role inside community, generally speaking, or even in small families. Not to call for superiority, to call to the right understanding and the right giving of rights. Okay. Also, one famous misconception about feminism, that some may see that it is no more became necessary to have feminism. Already women had their rights and they are able to do blah blah and write and publish and teach in different places. This is not correct. whenever we have a movement or an idea that calls for correcting inequalities and misconceptions, the movement itself may change what it calls for by the passing of time. It is true that in some communities, conditions are getting better as it presented in media and public life, but still, we still need the movement for the sake of not spreading the initial ideas. We more need the movement to correct itself, to keep the right track of moving on. This is one famous misconception that, okay, it is done, you did your job, you give women rights and rights, and they are, even in some communities, they became like privileged, more privileged than others. So we no more need this movement. But as I see, we need the movement to correct its own ideas and to remain, to spread awareness among women and men and children and all parties of community, if we are willing to have this feminism in its correct and fair form. Okay, here comes another famous misconception or myth around the feminism, that feminists are all the same. All people defending the rights of women are the same. But this is actually not true. As we explained while speaking about the rise of the movement, not only artists, people are not only people working in law, not only people working in media, they are not the same. There are different people behind the movement of feminism, but they are not equal. Not all of them are writers. Not all of them are lawmen. No, all of them are whatever they are, people working in economy and in academia. They are different types. Everyone is pushing or giving what he can give regarding feminism in his own arena, in his own area. For example, people putting the laws and rules are still working on correcting the track of rules governing, giving rights in their area. And people in academia still researching and writing and doing their role of raising awareness about the movement in their area. And the media men are doing the same in their area. So not all feminists are the same. And by the way, not all of them are women. I know names which are great figures that I can tell you they are defending the idea or the phenomena of feminism, maybe more greater than some women do. Okay. Another very famous and important misconception about the correct understanding of feminism comes the idea that feminism, generally speaking, is ignoring men's issues. But this is not correct. This is a misconception and not truly perceived. Many feminists truly actively address issues such as types that can be harmful not only to women and even to men. For example, some rare toxic types of masculinity. It may be harmful to the people practicing this, other than being harmful to women or even to children. We need to understand that in this regard, there is no size that fits everyone. This is something very common about the correction movements and giving rights. we maybe group everyone defending part of the truth, which is little bit may not be very clear to the whole. So everyone working in one field or one regard should be so keen on making what he's doing truly explained and showed to the, at least to the public, and of course to the other people working in on the same from a different perspective. This makes the idea that feminism doesn't ignore men issues more logical and more accepted and more understood. Okay. So we finished the part about the factors and the messes related. This a very short presentation that messes feminists hate men, that feminism is anti-family, as I said, and that feminism is no longer necessary, and feminists are all the same. And messes the last one, that feminists want women to be superior. Okay. I'm going to move to the part of presentation to discuss is feminism compatible with Asian values and societies. To be able to decide correctly on this part, we need to be to have a very good understanding of the societies we are talking about. Okay, as the Asian, while the word Asian value or Asian community is not the same, we need to know the cultural norms, the traditions, the social structure that prevailing in each community of these communities, to be able to correctly decide on is these concepts compatible or not. Okay, so we need to focus on the cultural context of these communities. It is clear for everyone that Asia encompasses a wide range of culture, religions, traditions, each with its own beliefs and practices. Regard this differently, the gender and role relevant to this gender. In some aspects of traditional Asian culture may align in partially with the feminist goals, such as the value of respect, to mention, not to forget, the value of respect, harmony, family unity. This is something very clear about Asian communities, generally speaking. However, to be fair enough to admit that there is patriarchal norms and gender hierarchies embedded in some Asian societies. And this is not only specified to Asian only, it could be seen in other different communities. Another feature that we need to focus on is intersectionality, which means that the core principle of feminism recognizes how various forms of identity, including race, class, religion, and the nationality, intersect to shape these individual experiences of inequality and the privilege. In Asian societies, ethnicity and socio-economy and intersect with gender, influencing women access to some resources, and could be seen, and some other opportunities and some rights. Feminism in Asia often takes this intersectional shape or approach, and it addresses these unique challenges because each community has its unique challenges that it faces that may not be part of the same people having the same situation in different community. Okay, to take into consideration also is the legal and the political systems in different Asian countries, and this is something undeniable. To be fair enough, and not to forget that some Asian nations made significant, undeniable steps in advancing women's rights through legislation and governance. Others may stay a little bit behind on their way. This is caused by some cultural conservation being conserved, and some systems, some political systems in some parts of these countries. In some countries, they need what I can call more strive or more push for forming a true well of people towards having more equality in this regard. Okay. What else? Of the most important, I see as one of the most, or if not the most, the most important, is the religious and cultural tradition of each Asian country. Of course, religion, as usual, plays a very significant role in shaping our cultural values and norms. This is very clear in all communities, especially in Asian community. This influencing some attitudes towards gender and family dynamics, and some religions teaching may promote this gender equality. If you need to give examples, I can give some examples. But generally speaking, it is not, the situation is not the same in all religions, but some religions defend more gender equality and social justice other than the other religions. And something important, that women's status in different religion is not the same. This is something that no one cannot change because it is part of their beliefs, but it needs to be correctly explained. What we can do in this regard, that we need to make it clearly explained in whatever religion we are talking about. What else? Not to forget the roots of the idea of feminism in each community has its own speciality, and this may be most witnessed and most clear in the Asian communities. Okay. What else? Yeah. Here we comes to another part of our presentation today, which deals with feminism and Islamophobia. Does the movement increases the sense of Islamophobia or what? To be able to analyze this correctly, we need to mention some factors related to the idea of Islamophobia. Both phenomena are witnessed, they are around us. They can intersect in some ways. Both of them is influenced by broader social and political and ideological factors. I'm going to explain. For example, both of them essentializing Muslim women. Islamophobia to correct to stand in face of the effects that happening to some communities suffering this is rightly essentializing women right in a form, the same way that feminism is doing for women in the main place. Okay, both of them is trying to simplifying some complex realities about women. This gives, of course, that communities, for example, Muslim community is diverse from one place to place, and the suffering is different from one place to another. But at the core, both of them is doing this. They are contributing to making the experience of women in these places more perceived. If going to fight both movements are fighting to reach this. Okay. Another intersection between both is the cultural imperialism. In certain and particular parts of the two movements is rooted is what I call Western feminism. This is becomes so clear if we could explain that people may adopt Western notions about feminism, which is not, we could say, applicable to Muslim majority communities, for example. Okay? And imposing these norms on the movement of feminism may sometimes, what we could say, make it not clear which is which, make the ideas not fully clear for everyone. Okay. Also, the conflict between religion and what we could call secular concepts or communities, if it is correct to call it secular communities. Feminists usually, especially in the communities including Islam, if I'm going to be fair to mention, have debates around religious freedom regarding women, of course, and it is essential to recognize that these debates or discussions can sometimes add to what could be called Islamophobia discourse or rhetoric, especially when we tackle the values and ideas which are inherited at the root of religion. This is clear for you, I hope. This unproportional situation may lead to having victim, if we could simply call it victim of the movement, same as Islamophobia, if happening, leading to having victims of the phenomenon. Okay. What is common again? Of course, the exclusion of female voices, especially and clearly in Western communities. Of course, women are in both situations are facing marginalization and exclusion in both situations. And this preventing women from contributing to their perspective and their insights to the discourse in these communities. Not to forget also is the political exploitation. This what happens with most movements that are sometimes mistaken or misunderstood as being in the side of different interests, and the main interest is the political interest. Okay. Um, and also one clear factor or something happening is a silencing of Muslim voices in both in the misunderstood form of feminism, and in case of facing Islamophobia, both are doing this. They are silencing the moderate, the correct voice of the correct or moderate Muslim voices. Here comes tackling the last topic of our presentation today is what are the limitations of feminism? The key limitation of feminism would come to inclusion. How far we have one of the main situations or reasons that limit the feminism movement, movement, is how far the whole component of, could say, the component of community are included in this. For example, social classes, different, for example, mid-social classes women are included in the movement, or they are taken for granted. Some very high class people are defending this and that right, and mid-class women are ignored. This is the idea about inclusion, that different component of all communities be involved, included in the call for these rights. Also, one thing that making the feminism limited and stop them from achieving more goals and gaining more areas is the main Western understanding of the movement as being pure Western. Of course, it is the most activist. The most of the activists about the feminism are Western writers or whatever, philosophers or intellectuals, but it is not pure. It is not only nowadays when the movement evolved. It is not only European. It is not Western. It is all over the world, in African and Asian and whatever part of the world. It is there. So it is what makes it limited, and still a kind of limitation to the phenomena, is the Western perceivance of the movement. Also, how I explain it, that some of the limitation of the movement is exclusion of men, the exclusion of men from the movement. We understand our communities as being two parts. It is never logical. No one succeeds to achieve whatever he seeks to achieve in his community by having only one half of a community convinced by his movement ideas. We have a very common saying here that women are half of community of societies, but I see that there are half of communities and their rights are so essential, and they are responsible for the other half. the bringing up of the other half, and planting values and ideas in the minds of the future other half of community. And this is so essential, that makes the feminist activists limited, that they exclude some moderate, especially moderate thinkers and philosophers, male philosophers and thinkers. Okay, here comes another part of other discussion. What are the limitation? We are done. What makes sorry? Let me complete while the slide is not. Okay. Here comes the last part of our discussion or our presentation today. What makes a feminist male pushing? It's important to understand that the feminist is a diverse movement with various perspectives, and that the concept of male pushing does not accurately reflect the true feminist principles or goals. Okay? What makes this true, that make people more convinced about this, that the mainstream of the idea of feminism, the phenomena of feminism, is advocacy to some main issues, as I explained during the first part of the presentation, especially the harmful stereotyping, and it promotes healthy expression of the true values of masculinity, not the passive, even for men themselves. Also, what makes it appears like this is the personal blame directed to the feminism. Also, stereotyping is one of the factors that make it appear like male pushing. If we come to the end of my presentation today, is why in sometimes and some places feminists are a little bit shy of having equal rights. Okay. To answer this, we need to put focus on like three things, very important three things. The first thing is the emphasis on structural change. As we are seeking more legal rights to have what we mean by gender equality, feminists need to recognize that achieving true equality also requires more and just form of legal recognition. They need this to be clear in their eyes. Also, not to forget about the diverse aspects of the phenomena of feminism. As I told before, it is not only about literature, not about law, not about economy. It is something from all sides that we need to pay attention to. Here I come to the end of my presentation today. I hope it was fruitful for everyone, and I'm open for your questions. Thank you so much, Doctor.
So thank you so much, ma'am. That was some really wonderful insights coming straight from Egypt. Thank you so much.
I'm really honored and privileged to be with you.
Oh, ma'am, that was the pleasure is all ours, and we are equally honored and pleasure. And it is a pleasure that you've joined us. You took out your time, your precious time, to be with us online today. And I'm sure that our participants who've joined us today, they've had a great time learning with you. And you comprehensively talked about the factors that led to the rise of feminism, and how you connected it so well with Islamophobia, and along with the way you decoded the myths and realities associated with feminism. We are really impressed by your profound knowledge.
Thank you.
And with that, I would now invite Dr. Khwaja Danish Hamid sir to kindly moderate the question answer round, and he would also be giving his concluding remarks. He shall soon be joining us.
Okay, I'm waiting.
So, thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insight. Now the floor
Thank
is
you,
open
Doctor.
for question and answer. You can type your question in the chat box, and I will read it out for Asma, ma'am, and she will be answering it. So, meanwhile, the questions are arriving. I have some few questions to ask from Asma, ma'am. So, I'll
Please.
be taking advantage of this position. So, my first question uh, is hatred for male core value that is imparted within feminism, especially though that feminism that is exported from the West.
It comes from inside and outside. Yeah, if you are going to, it is how it is perceived. It is not about hating, but this is one reality that is seen, witnessed, that people around the phenomena understand that feminists hate men. And actually, some people, some activists may look like this. Their discourse may because they very enthusiastic about what they say may look like this, but actually the true concept of feminism is not about hating men. It is about having the right equality.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, how does feminist school of thought is influencing the way we write our history? Can you throw some insight into this?
A lot is written about the roots of the movement in history, but it witness it take it took its shape that we can witness as a movement by the late 50s.
So,
When mainly when the political riots were given in most of the world countries, for example in Egypt, in US, and different countries, this witnessed the main rise of the movement.
my next question will be that how feminism is influencing the legal matters, that is the family laws of the minorities, to be more specific and precise.
Yeah, it is gaining area each day. The achievements, the improvement achieved in different countries of the world in this on the legal level, and speaking about the right of females, is advancing every day. As I told, for example, in my own community, women are given the right legally to holding all positions, even the highest, like judiciary positions. And this is happening, and the right of voting and right of whatever, holding public positions and different, and financial rights and different rights, and even in some countries family laws are taking a new shape after people defending the right of equality is taken for the right of equality, not to making women superior or take the right of men in marriage or whatever, but there are changes. As long as the change is happening, it affects communities. It is there.
My next question will be that Do you consider this modern day feminism as a Eurocentric ideology or Eurocentric
Still,
thinking that,
still, yes, still.
and it is not inclusive?
Not rightly inclusive. We need the true spreading of the idea should be given. As I told you during our presentation, no idea is ever successful if it is taken as it is to each community. To be able to achieve, to gain the roots, the fruits of the true values of feminism and ideas, it should be situated in each community according to its values. But still, till now, it is Western centered.
Okay. So, ma'am, do you think that feminism is a root cause for making uh, Asian society more vulnerable to anarchy? Means it is being weaponized these days by the West
Right.
against the Asian societies. Do you think this way?
If we are not going to say they are against, at least they are afraid of, not open. People are usually not feel comfortable with things they not very well understand and who not trust. You understand me? I'm not speaking on the level of academia. I'm speaking about the level of the common men, the community generally speaking.
So, is feminism all about copying the males and doing what the work they do at public spaces or office spaces for that matter? Means if a male is indulging in smoking, a female should also indulge in smoking for that matter.
Excuse me, would you please repeat?
Is
Come again?
feminism all about copying the males? Means imitating the males,
Oh,
what the
yeah.
males are doing?
No, no, it is not about, it is not, uh, sometimes raising awareness about about something may make men in some situations become aware of how unfair is done to them when they do this. It is not about superiority, as I told you before. It is more about equality.
Yeah, but most of the time we see that many feminists are copying, imitating the males, and they are trying.
This what
So that's why I was
appears.
curious. Just
This this is something that no one can control, because this is witnessed in different communities. But if we are going to explain a phenomena fairly, we are going to tell this is not true. What you are doing is not true.
one more slightly complicated question. Is feminism responsible for the breakdown of Asian values and family system in Asia and Africa? Both the contexts I am asking.
Not responsible, but the what we could say, the not right application or understanding of these values may harm some communities, because some communities have some principles and values rooted in families, like respect and respecting, assigning roles. If it is not very well conceived in the moderate and very well serving understanding, it can harm some communities. So what we call that to call for is that to take and leave. If it calls to women to be free to have some denied rights, most welcome. It is not to destroy our communities or to destroy our family system. We have the right to keep and take what serves our communities, what improves the inside communities.
I just was curious to know how feminists look at environment and geography around them. Because we can't change geography and the effects of environment that have in our evolution.
Sometimes when I speak about this, I say that geography sometimes serves history.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, ma'am, please elaborate on this if you can.
Yes, that the application of and applying of some values in some communities in a different way may serve the historical beginning of the phenomenon and the natural development of its own ideas. It is all about the people who perceive, the people who work for, the people who defend. It is not about the idea. It is about how to apply it in our communities in the form that best suits our own values.
So, one slightly personal question. If
Yes.
you do you have any memories in which of your childhood in which you were sensitized, or you can say you were made to feel that you are not equal in that society?
Honestly, I was privileged to have a family which
Okay.
is by default are are defending and having a high position, alhamdulillah, of women. For example, when I was young, I wanted to have language courses at the Purge Council while being so young. The norm was that my brother would going take me by car to have the course, and he was so busy. Mom, I don't have time for your daughter to go 3 times a week to have the course. One of the sweet memories that my mom told me, okay, we don't need you, go. I'm going to help her myself. I'm going to take a taxi, no need for your car. I'm going to take a taxi for your sister. And she was the one, because when you have a wise mom and dad, you have this atmosphere. Me myself, I was alhamdulillah privileged and honored to have a family wise and lovely mom like my mom and my all family members.
Indeed, mothers are the dearest one on this earth.
Alhamdulillah.
Ma'am, last question. How this feminist school of thought looks at the conflicts? Means there are many conflicts that are going across the globe these days. So, what
Yeah.
effect
I
that?
al-
Yeah, ma'am.
yeah. I see. I always believe that the family is the cornerstone, the first to defend for its members against whatever harmful ideas. Whenever you have a positive atmosphere inside your small family, when everyone is given the right to express themselves rightly, to express their fears, to express whatever they go through, we have a brilliant future for all men and women. This is the small family is like the place when the correct plant is planted, the correct tree is planted.
Yeah. So, with this, we come to the concluding remarks. So, in the concluding remarks, I will say that we were fortunate to have Dr. Asmaa Elzieny with us, who enlightened us on the following issues: that is, feminism compatible with Asian values, feminism and Islamophobia, essentializing Muslim women, cultural imperialism, exclusion of Muslim voices, limitation of feminism, and why feminists shy away from equal rights. So these are the topics which was extensively discussed and covered by Dr. Asmaa Elzieny, ma'am. So without wasting any further time, I will ask Dr. Sadra ma'am to come and give her vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all.
Good
Myself
afternoon.
Sadira Shahnaz. Assistant Professor, Department of History. I am here to give the vote of thanks on the behalf of our department, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Chancellor of Integral University, Syed Wasim Akhtar sir, for providing us with these opportunities and for his continuous encouragement uh, and support. And next, I would express my gratitude to the Pro Chancellor of Integral University, Syed Nadeem Akhtar sir. As a young and dynamic leader, he continuously encourages us to organize and participate in these valuable and informative sessions. And I would like also to thanks our Vice Chancellor, Integral University, Professor Javed Musarrat sir, who is always a pillar of strength for us. And I also wish to express my gratitude to Professor Zeba Akil ma'am, Head of Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, uh, for her continuous guidance and support and motivation throughout the entire process. I would like uh, to express my sincere thanks to esteemed guest Professor Asmaa Elzieny for sharing her valuable uh, insight on the topic of feminism and feminism myths and realities. Ma'am, this discussion significantly enhance our knowledge and understanding of the subject, and the student have greatly benefited from it. And before we conclude, let us extend our heartfelt gratitude to all faculty members of the Department of History for making this online session possible. We also thank the student and participant who joined this online lecture. So thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
It was pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalam.
Remove stage. Remove stage.